1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the Ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
I'm Eric Van Johnson. It is January 5th, 2023, and you're listening to episode 317 of PHP Ugly, a weekly podcast brought to you live on the internet every week, Thursday around 9 on YouTube. Just come join us, youtube.com/phpugly. If you care to be part of the live audience, you can pop into our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. Hang out with us, chat with us during the show. It kind of goes back and forth. They're a rich source of entertainment and content for the show. To be quite honest with you, we've run out of things to talk about like a couple of years ago, to be completely honest with you. I am here with a couple of my PHP developer friends who make a living every day programming with PHP programming language. And this show, this week, I forgot to verify this, but we have at least one sponsor. Do we have two sponsors?
I do not. I don't know.
We're going to call two sponsors for this week, and then we'll see about next week. But Cloudways and honeybadger.io. As always, we do have a huge appreciation to our Patreons on Patreon. And you can get that at patreon.com/PHP Ugly. And yeah. So like I said, I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me tonight are my friends, John Congdon.
My SQL is causing me to drink.
And a potential next Speaker of the House, Tom Rideout.
Hello. It would be my pleasure to get 215 votes.
I mean, you'd probably get more votes than some of the people they're putting up.
It's a mess.
John's messing around with his camera. What's going on there, buddy?
Well, Buttery commented that it was a super close up and was wondering if he was watching the Primogen. Nope, you were not.
Oh yeah, you gotta put your little black hoodie up if you're gonna be the Primogen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, headphones go on the outside, but that we'll let that slide. What
do I know? I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you don't know who Kevin McCarthy is, so yeah,
who?
I'm very concerned about that. Holy smokes, man!
Who is Kevin McCarthy? No, seriously, I do not watch the news. I watched it for the first time a few days ago with my kid, and it's just this person murdered a cop, and then this person did this, and some of the new laws that have taken effect, including hate crimes, including nooses and burning crosses. And now I'm sitting here with my kid trying to explain, somebody shooting a cop. I'm explaining what hate crimes are, which I should be explaining anyway, just not because
Yeah,
the
I was about
news
to say, I mean,
not because
the
of,
shelter
not because of
life
the
isn't
news.
that great. Well, Kevin
All right,
McCarthy,
Kevin McCarthy.
he was the Speaker of the House, but
No, hasn't been yet. So he wants to be the Speaker of the House.
the majority. Yeah, the majority. Yeah, that's true. So he was the minority Speaker of the House when the Democrats had more more House representatives. So whatever one, that's not even true. Whenever that power shift happens, I guess they get to elect who is the Speaker of the House, and typically it's whatever party has more people because they have more people there to vote for their person. And it should have been like a no-brainer that Kevin McCarthy became the new majority Speaker of the House, and that has not gone according to plan. So, yeah.
So they have to get 215 votes to elect the Speaker of the House. They have the votes, except that not all Republicans are voting for McCarthy.
Right.
So he has lost, and they can't proceed. The House cannot proceed until there is a Speaker of the House.
They can't do any business. And what's funny, so they've gone through, I think, 8, 9, maybe 10 cycles of voting. 11 now?
Today.
They've gone through 11 cycles of voting. And like when I was watching it, each time he kept losing more votes.
Yeah, it's a mess.
He like started out with like 210, then he was down to 205, then 201, and oh man.
Yeah, so right now, actually, a Democrat has the majority of votes, but a majority doesn't win the seat. It's 215 votes.
Right. And he should be that person is getting the votes to become the minority Speaker of the House, right? Isn't that how that works?
The minority is just the other party gets to vote for their own guy.
Well, I think the votes
majority is
I think the votes are all done at the same time, and like the first person is the majority, second person is minority. But like you say, you have to hit a threshold of a certain amount of votes. I don't care. Why are we talking politics? I'm already regretting bringing it up.
Because somebody brought it up prior to the show, and I said, "Who's Kevin McCarthy?" And you guys thought it was hilarious.
Hey,
That part is true.
That's very true. Hilarious,
I
terrifying.
I like my sheltered life. Thank you.
We have not gotten together and talked for a few weeks now. How has there, John?
We didn't talk last week, did we?
You said you started drinking because of SQL. Let's spill the beans. What's up with that?
So I have the joy of being on call on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday this week, we had some weird MySQL blip on one of the replicas for one of our bigger clients, and restarting the replica seemed to fix it. No big deal. Go about our day. Wednesday rolls around. I'm on call. No clue what happens. This on the primary database this time. Some issue happens. All hands on deck. We're trying to figure things out. Down for about 10 minutes while we're trying to restart MySQL. We use ProxySQL in front of it. So usually we jump on, we restart ProxySQL, everything clears up, it's fine. But we can't get access to the primary because we keep getting too many connections. As soon as you restart ProxySQL, all the connections should be gone. Still couldn't access it. So me being a Linux guy, I'm like, well, let me look at netstat and see what's connected. And somehow there are thousands of connections, even though MySQL is configured only for like 600 at a time. There's thousands of processes, I should say, trying to connect, all sitting in a close wait state. And they're all coming from ProxySQL, which has been restarted. Everything is done. Like there's no reason for this, and we couldn't figure it out. So we tried just restarting MySQL, and it's hanging, not doing anything. So we talked to Procona, and they say do a kill-7, which isn't documented anywhere, but we do that. It's back up and running. Okay. We spent the next 5-6 hours in Zoom, trying to figure out what's going on. Nobody knows for sure. There's no smoking gun. We're looking at commit logs and change logs and, trying to find any information we can, and still never found the smoking gun. But like, we've been running this way for years, no issues. This was just a blip. It'll be fine. Yeah, I've been paged over 20 times today.
Oh my God.
Granted, each event is like 7 or 8 pages because it's, it starts out with too many connections and then this, and then the site's down, and then CPU average. So there's all of these events. Meanwhile, we're paying Procona, and Procona just becomes another, hey, we got this alert. I'm like, I've already got that alert. What are you telling me for? Fix it. I don't need a Slack alert on top of the PagerDuty, on top of the text that I've already gotten.
What about an email?
I
probably got that too.
I have a very similar experience with one of our clients where me and the other person who really kind of does our operations will get email notifications of something that like happened at AWS. And then this client will ping us in Slack, copy and paste the email in Slack, like as if we didn't already get it, forward us the email, then open up a ticket, attach the email, and let us know in Slack that that ticket's been opened with that email. It's like, oh my God.
So yeah, it was one of those days.
I gotta say, I really wish, John, you were more of a blogger, or you had some sort of avenue to kind of write like articles or something. Because
if I had one of those,
with the exception, so back in the day, back when I did ops years and years ago, I implemented a very early implementation of MySQL proxy, and it worked. We've used it very sparingly, but it worked for what we were using it for. I have talked to other people about the idea of using MySQL proxy and why you would do it. I think the client you're working on is the only other firsthand experience I have seen of somebody using MySQL proxy. And you guys have been using it on that client for a while, right?
Yep. And just to be clear, I don't know if MySQL proxy is a different thing, but this is ProxySQL, ProxySQL. But probably a very similar concept.
That's a good question. Maybe I'm not saying the wrong words.
Possibly. I just don't know if MySQL has their own like proxy thing,
I want to
which
say
they might. They probably do.
Yeah. So you're not using MySQL. You're using SQL proxy.
ProxySQL.
ProxySQL.
Right. Which is very convenient in if you want to take baby steps to having replicas and you don't want to manage it in your application, which was one of the big things. Was I don't want to have multiple connections in the application and say, okay, this is for this one, we're going to use our replicas, but this query has to be up to date. It's going to use the primary.
So it does say that this is for MySQL. I don't know. Maybe I remember what the project was called. In my head for some reason I thought it was MySQL proxy, but I think this is the same thing because it says it's for MySQL ProxySQL. So I don't know if it's gone through a name change. I don't know if this is a different project or if I'm just remembering it wrong. That's always very possible.
That tagline of scale 100,000 plus connections across thousands of servers sounds like exactly why I wouldn't want to do this.
It's really convenient
And
in the
smart
sense,
too.
right? So the way you set it up is when a query comes in, it's going to route it somewhere. It's going to route it to a group of hosts. And the way we're using it is, unless it hits a rule, it always goes to the primary. Because back in the day, that's all we had was a single server. And then when we tried to introduce a replica early on, if there was any replica lag, people would complain that their data was wrong. And then you look at it and you're like, well, if you look at it now, it's right. Like people are just, they were so sensitive to it being there, ready to go right away. So then we started putting in rules where if there's no rule, it goes to primary. But if it matches this specific rule, we know that for a fact that this data doesn't change. So that's always, or that will go to the replica. And then slowly over time, that list grew a lot. And so there's lots of stuff that goes to the replica. And now within the code, if we put a comment in the query, it will go to the replica via ProxySQL. So we don't have to have a specific rule there for it.
Oh, that is kind of wicked smart.
There's also a rule, like a comment in the SQL we can put to say, no, this must go to the primary. So it'll bypass any other rule, always go to the primary, because we know that has to be, up to the millisecond data.
Really
So
should think about doing
just
an
different ways
article.
just different ways that we are using it, and it's been convenient.
Or find somebody who can write an article.
Mm-hmm. What, Tom?
Thousands of servers, just sounds terrible.
Thousands of servers still sound terrible, but
that's just their marketing hype. I mean, you typically, well, I don't want to say you typically, but the people I see use it will maybe have 2, 3. I mean, it's never more than 4 or 5, but it's not thousands. I'm sure there are people out there that do it, but are there any other I know we can't disclose too much information, but are there any other fancy rules you use, or is it just like, hey, write this to primary, write this to replica?
So early on when it was first implemented, it was very surgical in these specific looking queries. So it's just using regex to say, if the query looks like this, it's going to go to the primary group. The primary group includes the primary. Did I say that? I said that weird. The replica group, host group 2, sends like 95% of the queries to the replicas, and then 5% go to the primary, just as a fallback. And it's smart enough to say, as soon as there is some amount of replica lag, I think we have it set to 30 seconds, then it pulls that replica out and says, okay, no more queries are going to go to that for the time being, which in general sounds great until you're overwhelming the primary, because all of the queries are now going to the primary database, which is the whole point of having ProxySQL to begin with. But neither here nor there. Most of the queries are very surgical in choosing a regex that it matches, and those have been gotten from other tools where things are being monitored. PMM has been a great tool for, here's your top queries or your top worst queries, and then you analyze it and you're like, yeah, that can go to the replica, throw a rule in there. So it's kind of been mostly surgical in that case, and then we added that comment thing later on, and then I use that a lot.
Oh, how about you, Tom? What have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Oh boy. Well, the big project I've been working on for the last 3 months is live.
Oh yeah?
Went live today.
Did you make your deadline?
We made the deadline. Everything looks good. I'm very excited. I've been told that I did a great job, which is always nice to hear, and everything's going wonderfully well. So big celebration day for me. I also am under contract for a house that I'm looking at,
What?
and did the inspection, the home inspection today. So it's been a very, very long day.
So you have an offer down on the house and everything? You're basically bought a house?
Yeah, basically. So there's just some negotiation about minor repairs to the house and stuff like that, but it would appear that I bought a house.
Congratulations.
Wow, that's huge,
Thank you.
man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So over the next month and a half or so, well, I guess just month or so, you will be expecting to see my new office, which is not a
That
bedroom.
was going to be
So-
my next question.
Does it have enough bedrooms to have your own office?
It is a weird house. It is listed as having 4 bedrooms, but that doesn't include the office space. There's a room that is an office. So it's kind of 5 bedrooms, but then there's also a family room downstairs, which, if you put a door on it, is another bedroom again.
It's not a bedroom until it has a closet. We all know that.
It's got 2 closets.
Oh.
It's a family room with 2 closets.
What?
It's weird. So we're basically getting a 6-bedroom house for the 4-bedroom price.
Wow.
But that will also be changing, because the first thing we're doing is knocking a wall down and making the 2 upstairs bedrooms into 1 master bedroom.
Okay.
Go on.
So we've done a little looking into that ourselves. And all realtors suggest not to do that. Like they say, that's one of the biggest mistakes homeowners make. Either they think they're never going to move out of the house and that's why they do it, or they think it's going to add value. It doesn't add value. It reduces value of the house. So you're basically reducing the value of your house right off the bat if you do that.
So we're not doing it to add value. We're doing it because the bedroom is too small.
All right. Well,
And they're doing it when they move in, not a few years in. I think the average homeowner, you think you're going to live there forever, and it's like 7 years or something on average.
Yeah. I don't particularly care about the losing value or anything like that. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff to the house that's going to increase the value. So if we end up in the same place when we end up selling it, I don't care that much.
and ideally, the value will just go up over time, regardless, right?
And what about
you do with it.
what about their comfort value? That has to count for something.
No. My comfort value counts for nothing to Eric.
To yourself is what matters.
I'm trying to help you out here, man. No, you know what? You know what they say? Just knock out the wall to the outside. I hear that's really good. Do that. Fuck you, man.
So that increases your square footage by a lot.
Yeah, get good airflow. Yeah, do that.
It's amazingly enough, the backyard is so big we could build another house on it.
Nice.
Which
Are you in the
does
same
meet-
general area of where you're at now, or is it a
Yep,
bigger move?
same zip code. It's just right down the street.
Cool.
Yeah. So I am going to be required to get a second dog. Apparently, that's just.
That's a law.
Yard.
Is that like an HOA thing?
I've been told the yard is too big for just the one dog we have. He'll need a friend. So that's gonna happen.
Everybody's already starting to call it the PFY Manor. See,
It is. It's a bit of a manor.
John, you're gonna have to step up your game, man.
Or
So
not.
we went to go. We scouted out this house and we really liked it. Decided we were going to put an offer on it. And later that night, we're watching TV and I look over at my wife and she's almost in tears. And I go, "Honey, what's wrong?" She goes, "Nothing. 15 minutes later, She finally tells me, I think it might be too small. I don't know. I don't remember.
You have 6
So-
bedrooms, too small.
Well, the living room space, the living room, dining room space. So I can't buy a house that makes my wife cry. Obviously. I mean, I can, but I'm not gonna. And so I pull up a floor plan modeling tool online, measure everything out, and put all of our existing furniture in it to show it to her. And she was very, very happy. Everything fits nicely. It's going to be fine.
Did she tell you? Did she tell you you put the couch on the wrong wall and that's not where the TV goes?
No, that was one of my stipulations. I didn't care about the rest of the house. I cared about the living room layout. And this house is already wired for ceiling mounted surround sound. So I saw that and I was like, wow, this is the place. This will work.
But don't you want to see upstairs? No, this will work.
Yeah, it's all fine. But there's a lot of stuff that, living in Colorado, I never had to think about in San Diego. Like, is the sump pump working and well maintained? And how's the roof? Couldn't get the roof inspected today because it was covered in snow. So
you could be in San Diego to be covered in rain.
I say for the record, you still worry about a roof in San Diego. It's not that nice of a place to live, but
I don't know. Just throw some palm fronds up there. You're fine.
All right, Eric. How about your week? We've rambled enough.
we can move on. I don't know, man. I feel like I've been super busy, but like I can't think of anything in particular. I don't think I've been doing a lot of coding lately, which is starting to frustrate me. I need to. What was that, Tom?
Project management. It's good to hear. It's good
Shut up. Shut up. Although I will say, we talked about this, I think, the last show. Notion is becoming more and more of a project management tool for me. That actually a project management tool I'm actually okay working in, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to start on another project for a client, so I think it's going to be, I'm going to get my coding fix back in, but really need to start doing some more coding with PHP Architect. There's so many little projects I have in store for PHP Architect of things I want to do. I just need to get the time to do it. I really wish I was more of a confident developer where I could like live stream as I was coding, because I just enjoy that.
I want to hear what these plans are you have.
Yeah.
At some point. Doesn't have to be right this second, but
yeah, no, it's not going to be this second. It's not going to be on the show at all. You know, some of them you just shoot me down all the time, and then I have to do them myself, and I just move on. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just yeah, things have just been going pretty smooth. I'm real anxious about getting some the other project I worked on. We're trying to get some load testing done on that still. Like, it seems that it was over the holiday weekend, so I'm cutting everybody a little slack, but I'm really kind of getting antsy to get the final numbers of this end-to-end testing that I want done and what that load looks like, because I know that's an important thing for the client. This was a big kind of point of it needs to be able to handle a huge influx of requests. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think I've been too focused on that, honestly. The last couple of weeks, I need to kind of either push harder to get those numbers, which I think I'm going to do tomorrow, or just forget about it until the client asks for it, which would probably be next Tuesday. But yeah, things are moving along. All right, so we're already a half hour in. We haven't even begun to kind of get into our PHP talk or anything like that. But we do want to share a potential sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Cloudways. We are all developers and love to write code, but managing the servers that code runs on can be a time-consuming and error-prone process. Cloudways helps you spend less time managing your servers and more time doing what you really want to do, coding. You only need one account to manage servers on multiple platforms and for multiple customers. Pick just the server size and location that makes the most sense for you and your customers. You can even estimate your costs for your server before spinning it up. Cloudways offers peace of mind and flexibility so you can focus on growing your business instead of dealing with server management. With Cloudways, you get an optimized stack, managed servers, backups, a staging environment, integrated Git, pre-configured Composer, 24/7 support, and a choice of 5 different cloud providers: Amazon Web Services, DigitalOcean, Linode, Google Cloud, and Vultr. Get a discount of 20% for 3 months using the code PHP ARCH. Check them out today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Cloudways. Yeah, we're getting there. A-Woods in our Discord. Jumping the gun a little bit. We're already talking about this. Just relax. We're getting there.
Wait, is A-Woods in our Slack channel? Like, is he watching what I'm typing?
He's got that. You know, he cracked our Slack channel months ago and been watching everything we discuss. Yeah. So I think we've talked. Well, a couple of things are going on right now. One thing that's really weirding me out a little bit is John and I are starting to test some potential hardware for tech. And when I say test, I mean this is a hardware we're using because it's fucking expensive. But the one thing we have set up right now, both him and I are using these cameras that we're hoping to do streaming from tech on. And John has his, if I understood what John explained to me, he has his up by where your webcam was. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It's exactly
Okay.
where my webcam was. Or
So mine, I didn't have a tripod tall enough. So I had to separate my monitors and put it like between my monitors. And now I like when I notice, like when I'm looking over watching you guys talk, I see myself in OBS. I'm like, wow, that looks weird. Look at the camera. Oh, no, that's weird. Oh, that's bizarre. So there's that. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I don't know if this is going to be my everyday webcam until tech or what, but I might need to get a new tripod. But I have to reach out to the knowledge base, which is the PHP Ugly listeners. If any of you are familiar with OBS and can give me some pointers, I would appreciate it. I feel like I've done this before and I can't figure it out now. But Tom and I have been switching back and forth on who kind of who handles the show through OBS. And I've been doing it the last few shows. And I feel bad because, as I explained many times before, we all kind of get hyped up before the show listening to Harry Mack. That's one of the reasons why we play it before the show on the live stream, because the audio stream doesn't get that. The audio stream gets the old introduction, and then if you're a good person and you listen to the whole show, you get Harry Mack at the end. But ever since I've taken over the management of OBS, I cannot figure out how to pipe Harry Mack back to John and Tom so that they can hear it. And it's specifically a Linux thing because Tom was able to do it. He didn't do it through OBS. He did it through the other software that we're using to kind of meet. And I guess on the platform he had, there was a checkbox that allowed him to share his audio. I don't have that on
when
Linux.
sharing the screen, you could share your desktop audio, but for some reason you can't do it on Linux.
Right. I don't know why that is, but I'm pretty positive that back in the day, a long time ago, when I was doing it through OBS, I had set that up through OBS. Now I was on a Mac back then, but it was still through OBS. Oh, you know what it was, John? It was that other software we used.
We use it on Mac, yeah.
Yeah, what was that called?
I forget now.
Yeah,
It was basically like a virtual audio connection.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need. I need like this mixer, like a virtual mixer on my Linux that will allow me to take output from one thing and make it input to another thing. That's what I need. I've looked. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, do use
Loop
this
back.
or yeah,
Loopback. I'm pretty sure that's what we used.
No, it wasn't loop. Loopback was, I think, part of it. But remember, it had all those you set up those configurations.
Yeah.
You think that was
whatever.
Loopback? Yeah. Anyways, I need something like that. Jack's sound routing. Okay. All right. I'll look. I have not come across that one. I will look. Thank you very much, Jack. There we go. 2 for Jack. Okay. All right. Cool.
I think I went down this road, and this was, I want to say, a year or so ago, and I ended up like breaking my sound because like Jack replaced Pulse Audio or something happened with the drivers, and like just things blew up on me.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a real thing because
I mean, I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but
no, you're
I
right.
remember looking into it.
All right, I'm gonna have to check out Jack's sound routing.
One of the things about it too is that we use 3 different pieces of software. We use Video Ninja for the 3 of us communicating, Zencaster to record, and then OBS to stream. So it's
I mean, Zencast doesn't really factor into that. That's just another tool that allows me to more easily put together the audio podcast. I think the Video Ninja was a huge find that you had come across, Tom. I've actually implemented Video Ninja. You know that. I showed it to you. I just haven't been brave enough to use it yet. Because it's like, this isn't broken yet, but my Video Ninja might be a newer version because I did download the current version when I implemented it. So actually, I wonder if maybe I'll test that sometime next week where I'll get on with one of you and see if that has the ability to share sound. But yeah, all right. Yeah, and then
have something to look into. Oh, that's what it was. Pipewire. Pipewire is going to replace Pulse Audio. I think that has replaced it.
I think you're right. I know Pop OS, that was their big thing. They have a different sound system altogether. So I have to give that a shot. See, this is why I talk about this stuff on the show. Look at all this information we're getting back.
Discord.phpugly.com. Join us if you aren't there already.
So I have a new thing. I know I told you I was going to touch on only a couple of things, but I got a new favorite thing I like to do.
What's that?
So I go through these spurts where I watch Twitch a lot, and there's almost never any PHP people on Twitch, which is another reason why I wish I had more guts to do it myself. But recently, I've been coming across people who have PHP, Laravel, and Livewire all as part of their tags. And when I see them online, so I typically wait for them to be online. And when I see them online, I'll give them a follow because I'm on there under the PHP Ugly Twitch account. And so that always gets a laugh out of them. But the thing I've started doing, and I actually really enjoy because I remember that feeling, is because nobody ever knows who we are. It's not like, oh yeah, I know you guys. No, I never get that. It's like, oh, that's a funny name. I share with them the Harry Mack song, and they lose their shit, man. I'm like,
why are you
yes,
not
I
sharing?
know.
Why are you not sharing that with me when you do that, bastard?
I mean, it's weird times at night, or during the day. I never know when it's going to happen, but yeah.
He lived too far away, and he was just driving past. He was gonna stop, but they were busy.
So yeah, I love getting like that reaction of people listening to that Harry Mack song for the first time, even as old as it is. Like listeners of the show, we've been listening to that for years now, but like it's still new to people, and I just love it. I get a real thrill out of it. All right.
Next time you do that, just share it with me. Hey, I'm about to share the Harry Mack with somebody. They may click on it.
And you can clip too. I always forget about that. I should start clipping it. That's what I should start doing. I should start clipping it when they listen, and then we have it. Damn, I always forget that.
That would make a great clip show for PHP Ugly.
So tech, any tech news? John?
My goodness, tech news.
Do we want to talk about this on the show?
Well, I have a cup. I have a. Do we want to talk about PHP tech? No, take that off the screen. Let's talk about something else.
Go ahead.
No, things have been going great. Almost all of the speakers' travel is booked. If you're a PHP Architect subscriber, if you subscribe to the magazine, you have access to the PHP Arch Discord channel. In there, if you happen to be in there in the general channel, you probably just saw this influx of people, and it's all the speakers have joined the PHP Architect channel, because we're going to have a Tech 23 speakers channel, or what is that what they're called in Discord? I don't know. Section channel. And there's going to be a Tech 23 attendee, and then there will probably be one per room as we get closer to that. But anyway, a lot of the speakers have gotten on there, and we've been talking in there, and that's been fun. Getting super excited. I shared with them all my anxiety is creeping into my dreams, and I've talked about it on the show, but my dreams are like just super vivid.
You went into a lot of detail on this too.
And I'm going to do it again right now, because it's weird where I'm standing there and I'm looking at these two guys. I'm like, I know them. And Chris Hart just reaches out, shakes my hand, and says hi. I'm like, and he's like, this is Ed. I'm like, I know Ed Finkler. And I'm shake Ed Finkler's hand, and we're talking. And then I happen to be standing there with another speaker, and I turn to introduce her, just be friendly. And I just, the name just escaped me. It was just gone. And I was so just embarrassed. It was terrible. Friggin' nightmare. So yeah, anxiety is running deep. And then my dreams have gotten really weird and on top of that too, but I'm not going to go into that now. It's just bad.
Now I'm curious.
Stress is crazy. On top of that, we're Eric spilled the beans. We're talking about doing streaming of tech. We'd still prefer you to be there in person, because that's where it's at. Like the networking, the talking to people.
Well, and it's also
it's
not guaranteed, right?
Yeah,
we agreed to that. Yes, we need sponsorship for that to happen.
Right.
I know John's very gun ho on it. I'm like, no. And then he's like, I'll buy you an expensive camera. I'm like, okay, maybe a little. We'll stream a little.
We stream every week. We need this camera.
Yeah, if you didn't already know, Eric's weakness is tech toys.
It really is.
I don't know if you saw earlier, I switched over to the webcam. I'm curious later to look back on the YouTube video to see if there's this big difference or not. But anyway, I digress. We're talking about streaming. So talking to the hotel this week, and I bring up wanting a hard line, like just a Cat 5 cable internet connection instead of using the Wi-Fi for streaming. And she's like, yeah, no problem. It doesn't say anything about it, just no problem. And we talk about booking rooms and like when we can get in, just everything about the event. Hour or so later, I'm in the middle of one of these MySQL outages I talked about. My stress level's through the roof because of it. And I see an email from her and I'm like, oh, what's this? There's a not an invoice, but basically, yeah, an invoice for a hard line. And they want over $3,000 to provide a Cat5 connection to the internet.
Three Cat5s for 3 rooms, $1,000 a piece.
It was. I was just like, I had the knee-jerk reaction of what with question mark, exclamation point, question mark, like $3K, and just like, that's ridiculous.
I actually liked your second email. I was like, well, maybe I wasn't clear what I was asking for. I just need like literally the Cat5 cable in the room.
I'm like, you don't have a Cat5 like a jack in the wall already. I just plug into and it's good to go. And she's like, I'm including our AV specialist on this email, and they will expand more. And basically, they're charging bandwidth and connections and all this other crap. And it's like, never mind. I'll just try it on the Wi-Fi.
See, it's the old invoice scam. They tried to get Elon with that one on the Twitter headquarters. He's not falling for it. They're not paying that.
What are you talking about?
Well, Elon Musk is decided not to pay rent for the Twitter headquarters, so they're suing him because it's like $115,000 that he's behind now.
Really?
Yeah, it's an office to house your employees is pretty low on the list of things you need, so you can push that off kind of indefinitely.
I'm not sure that's going to work for us, but I'll keep that in mind, Tom.
Well, I mean, how do you think of buying a new house?
You know what you shouldn't.
You're just invoicing it.
Yeah.
You know what you shouldn't push off, Tom.
What is that?
Monitoring of your website.
Okay.
When you're in production, 1,000 things can go wrong. You could deploy a bug in your latest release. Your background jobs can silently fail. Someone could trip over the network cable at your data center, and this all comes back to you. You need to know when bad things happen and be able to respond to them quickly. That's why we built Honeybadger. It's easy to install Honeybadger in your back-end applications and front-end JavaScript. It only takes a few minutes of configuration and you'll have monitoring done. That's because we hook into popular web frameworks, job systems, and the browser, so that when any of them crash, we can automatically let you know. We ping your application from our global fleet of servers to let you know about problems with connectivity, latency, and SSL certificates, and we monitor your recurring jobs to see if any of them stop recurring. When there's a problem, we alert your team using the tools you already use. We can create issues in GitHub, Jira, and other issue trackers, and send notifications via Slack, PagerDuty, or other channels. When you click through, you'll be taken to detailed information on the error. You'll see things like request parameters, headers, user information, and the backtrace. Click on any line of the backtrace to view it in GitHub, Bitbucket, or your local editor. When you fix a problem, just mark it resolved and follow up with the affected user. That's Honeybadger. We're the monitoring tool for web developers who'd rather be, well, developing.
Thank you, Honeybadger.
Honeybadger.
Cool. Man, I don't know what it is about the shows, man. It's just like we're like 50 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to our Trello cards yet.
Just grooving along.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, the support at phparch.com an email address that works.
It feels like it should. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I feel like that's the email that should have worked. That should work. Yeah.
We'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
I saw a fun article this week. Well,
Article?
maybe not fun. Yeah, Laravel News announced that the Laravel, the official Laravel certification program, is no longer official.
Taylor tweeted that out
Ugh.
himself
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought.
I just saw it this week.
It was last.
Well,
last week. Taylor mentioned it.
Yeah. Maybe you should pay attention to Discord sometimes.
You know, I'm a busy man.
Buying
It's,
houses.
Yeah. Panic attacks, houses, you know, it's a whole collection of stuff.
They all come together. Bundle price.
Yeah, so I don't know what you do if you're Taylor here, because like he wants to part ways with the Laravel certification program.
He
But
did
I
part
guess-
ways.
Right, but I guess they still want to use the term Laravel certification program. So it's just not official.
That's an interesting little dilemma. I don't know if they had any sort of agreement in place, and I don't know that
There must have been something because they were using the Laravel domain.
Were they?
Yeah, that was what was the big thing. Like, somebody asked specifically about that, and Taylor's response was, "Yeah, that may not be for long."
Oh, interesting. So, what does that in the eyes of Laravel? When I say Laravel, I mean specifically the official Laravel brain trust of Taylor and anybody who follows Taylor. What does that mean for all those people who invested and got a Laravel certification from this now not recognized as official certification group?
Well, I'm not sure. So somebody asked him on Twitter, a little upsetting that it was never made clear that the certification had no ties to Laravel at all. This basically makes the cert completely useless.
Well, not
Taylor says incorrect. It did have ties to Laravel. It was just managed by people outside of the company, but I still personally approved the initial exam.
right. And I think the word useless might be a little strong. I mean, because it's not useless. If you pass a certification program, then you pass the certification program. There are certification programs all over the place that you can pass that aren't part of that.
Well, but he's basically saying it is useless because he didn't like the way that it ended up, and so he doesn't endorse it anymore, which means if you've got your Laravel cert, it's no longer endorsed by Taylor. And
yeah, I think
that's pretty rough.
And I know we hammer this home all the time, and I'm sorry to bring it up, but this is another glaring example of when we say Laravel's not enterprise. This is a glaring example of that. If it was enterprise, Laravel would be managing the certification process. It wouldn't be outsourced to another company or another group who's asked to be recognized as the official. It would be Laravel. So I'm curious if
it's going to make money, then it should be something that's run by the company that is the official company.
Well, it's not even a matter of if it makes money. That's how it should be, right? Like if you're going to say something is your certification, is your official certification, then you should be in charge of that certification. And I'm curious if that might be where they go. Now, yeah, back in the day, yeah.
I shared a link. I did share a link. I don't know if it's going to show up in Discord the way I shared it, to the actual Twitter conversation.
Yeah, that should pop over here.
It's not flattering to Taylor. I mean, there's a lot of people who are upset, and Taylor's response is essentially, "Hey, not my problem anymore. I just disavowed him."
I mean, yeah. I mean,
he does state very clearly he's just not happy with how it's being run. When somebody says, "I've sent tickets or emails and Twitter messages trying to get a response, and I'm not getting anything," it looks bad on Taylor. Even so, he's saying, "Hey, this isn't mine," which is fine. It's not. He should part ways with them if they are not upholding the brand and making him happy.
Yeah,
But I
it
agree
should
with
be
you,
something
Eric.
that ends with the people that have vouchers that aren't used yet, or I mean, he should be working with the company to do something.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's like a warranty. It's
But he didn't give the warranty.
well, he did by saying that it's official.
Yeah, I think it's
I
I
don't
think it's tough because I mean I know those certifications aren't cheap. I don't know if I've ever met anybody who actually got a certification, and I'm too much of a puss. I can't take tests, or I would have tried, but those certifications aren't cheap, and there are people who do that sort of thing to kind of get established. That's how I got into IT actually. I wasn't before I was in IT. Yeah, I always did this stuff on the side, and I'm a self-taught developer, and I even went to school, community college, for computer science. Back then, we didn't have a web, so I didn't do web development or anything like that. But when I got interested in web development and started doing it on my own on the side, I eventually asked a friend of mine. I'm like, hey, I would love to do this for a living, and his response to me is get a certification. He's like, it doesn't matter what it is, get an IT certification. Go for the Microsoft certifications were huge at the time. He's like, go get a Microsoft certification. He's like, companies will hire you in an instant if you have that. And there are people who work hard for those certifications, and
which is what I did too. I got my MCSE.
yeah, and they don't have the money for it, right? They it's an investment that they see in themselves. So it's like it's almost like instead of going to college, I'll get the certification and hopefully get a better job. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I can't blame Taylor. If Taylor wasn't happy with the way it was being handled, wasn't happy with the way it's being handled. And I think everybody should have understood the risk, right? If it wasn't official, if it wasn't actually from Laravel, if Laravel wasn't creating the test, managing the certification, I feel like you should have known that there's a risk at some point.
But it was on Laravel.com. It was certification.laravel.com.
Yeah, and he did.
People
did certify the initial test, so
that
yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
do you think he can be held liable for any of that?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those shit rolls downhill situations where he could be held liable, and then he can hold them liable. But I think he could have made a more graceful exit from it as well. Instead of just saying we're discontinuing it, he could have tried to figure out some way of compensating the people that are getting screwed by it.
Well, but so he takes the financial hit on that? Like,
I mean, if he's making money off of it, then he takes a financial hit off of its failure.
But there's nothing saying he was making
well, he would not have called it official if it hadn't made him some kind of money. If he wasn't getting cash for
I don't know that to be a fact, because he has done other things that without him needing to make money.
I mean, Laravel itself, right? I mean, that doesn't make money off Laravel itself. So yeah, but Buttery in our Discord says, I was always told the certification means jack shit.
And honestly, I've always been one of those people too. Like, honestly, I got the Microsoft one, and then like I don't think they mean anything. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, no. If you're in the industry, that's probably a very true statement. If you're somebody who's in the industry, getting these certifications doesn't mean what the people giving you the certification want you to think it means.
Right.
For people like me who were on the outside trying to find a way in, I still think it's a valid avenue to get to prove to companies, hey, I have some skin in this game. I'm committed. I really want to do this. Here's a certification I went and got. Like I've never worked in IT before, but I really want to. and I went and did all this work. So I do think it's valid for that, for trying to get your foot in the door sort of situation. But yes,
and for a lot of companies that don't have a team of PHP developers that kind of feel the same way, it's just like, I need somebody that knows PHP to build this or to maintain this or fix something that I was left with. They don't know any better, so they're like, "Oh, you got a PHP certification? All right." Like, that means a lot
right.
to those smaller companies than it
Very
might mean
true.
to somebody
Yeah,
lots of developers.
and the certification education pipeline is useful to companies as well. So if you're working at a company and they want you to work on the Salesforce system, then they will pay for your education to get the certification, because that means they didn't waste the money by you failing to learn the certification. Your change in position is contingent on getting the certification. It just ensures that you went through the lessons that they also paid for to get you to be the Salesforce person. So there's benefits for sure.
Right. And we need to be clear, right? We're talking from a developer perspective, even from a networking perspective. But there are verticals in our industry where, like, that's all you do is get certifications, like security. Like security people, if you talk to anybody, a security person will that's how they will present themselves, not with their name. They're like, oh yeah, I have this cert, this cert, this cert. Like the security people, the security industry in IT.
That's because they're smart and they don't share their name. They keep it secret.
So please keep in mind, you're talking to 3 developers. When we talk about this stuff, we're talking from a developer's perspective. But there are places in IT where certifications do have some meaning. I just don't think as a developer they do, because I mean,
I'm trying to say, I think all education is pointless. Magazines, podcasts,
where's the mute button?
In-person events.
Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. Good sir.
Who even buys magazines? It's crazy.
Man, killing me, Smalls, killing me. But I'll say this last thing about it. I think we've beat this horse silly. The issue with certifications and development, and PHP is a good example of it. Laravel is an excellent example of it. Is that to really stay relevant, you have to keep up with the language. And we've talked all the time about how quickly PHP is evolving now and how quickly Laravel evolves. Getting a certification 2 years ago in Laravel would mean jack shit today, right? I mean, because much has changed in PHP and Laravel.
I mean, if it became a certified Laravel certificate, it would be versioned the same way. You would have a Laravel version 9. What are they up to? 19 now? 19.
What are you talking?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're up to Laravel 416, episode 317 is what they're up to.
Nah, but I do think what you're saying is correct. It shouldn't just be a Laravel certification. It should be, I'm Laravel certified as of this version or whatever it is, to kind of have some sort of benchmark. But then again, small companies that don't know, all they know is they have Laravel. They don't know what version they have. It's not going to mean anything. But at that point, I guess it doesn't matter if they see you have any Laravel certification. Even if there's Laravel 4, they'd be happy.
Speaking of small companies, I read the web dev subreddit, and this comes up like weekly. But the title of this post is, I'm not convinced that quote unquote modern web dev is also better. And it goes on to complain about TypeScript and setting up Webpack and all these steps required for JS and CSS and HTML. And it's like, I want to put this to bed so much. I just want to never see this again, because it's always these small independent developers or very small teams that are like, yeah, setting up stuff is too hard. It's like, no, man, this stuff evolves. You have to evolve with it and learn the new tools. Like, don't set up Webpack from scratch. You know, don't use Docker without Docker Compose, or what the daemon. What's the one that you use, Eric, for controlling all your Docker containers?
Lando? Oh, Devil's Box is what you're thinking. Devil's
Yeah, Devil
no,
Box.
Lando's.
There's
I'm a
also
Lando man now.
I see. But like, just this argument of like, oh, it's so hard to have to compile your CSS, and like, well, if you're in a company of 20 people, everyone's working on different stuff. You have a DevOps guy that's helping you with all this stuff. It's like, John, you were talking about the MySQL situation you were in. I'm like, God, I'm so glad I just don't have to ever think about that again. I'm in a big company that has a guy who does that stuff. That's his only thing, you know? But you're not complaining that like MySQL's too hard to manage, because you understand you could pay someone to manage it for you. It's just that you're the guy who's paid to manage it right now.
No, there's people paid to manage it. I'm just part of the team.
You're on the pager chain.
I'm on the pager chain, yes. The annoying pager chain.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I don't know if I'm wrong here, but people complaining about React and how it's too hard to use all these modern JS libraries and stuff. I'm like, shut up. You're completely wrong.
I think that was one of the biggest takeaways I got from going to PHP Tech back in 2010 was modern web development and what it gets you. I remember vividly prior to that, like Googling how do I release code, because I had code in production and I edited code in production, and I tried so many times to break that cycle, and I failed time and time again. Even if I'd get a part way there, I couldn't get to the end. I couldn't have a release pipeline. I didn't understand any of that. So going to a conference and talking to people that were doing this professionally was like mind opening. I was like, oh my gosh, I am definitely doing this wrong, and I need to change how I am doing this.
Yeah, and crazy.
And it helps having the people there to talk to as well. Like, it's one thing to in today's world be able to Google something and read through it, but it's still nice to walk up to a speaker, especially if you see a presentation on it, and ask questions and say, hey, you know, I'm still confused about this, or how's this handled? And yeah, there's no substitute to in-person conferences.
I had Google back in 2010 and I still couldn't figure it out.
But Crazy in Discord brings up a good point, which is they say, I just can't deal with writing binary code anymore. I don't think these computer things will ever take off. It's like, this person is complaining about JavaScript, which is already a high level programming language.
That's great.
It's a programming language on top of the V8 engine, which is a web browser engine, on top of a Linux machine, on top of the Linux kernel, on top of C++, on top of C. It's like, if you think it's too complicated, try writing this in C. Knock yourself out. Go ahead and open a port and start serving raw vanilla JS through that.
You know what I want you to get on top of, Tom?
Oh, please reword that.
Our Patreons. Our Patreons. And we have a new one.
Patrons.
Welcome, Jason.
Welcome, Jason. Jason, you got a very short slide there. I apologize. I'm coming back from holiday, man. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, I didn't know how to distinguish a New Year's Eve firework display from a 4th of July firework display, so I just like kept it all the same color.
It's just a ball drop.
Yeah, it's the ball drop.
Ball drop. That's what I googled that, and it just didn't turn out very well for me. It's probably still
You got to turn the safe search.
Yeah,
Turn it back on.
Gotcha. That's what that might have been the mistake I made. Ball drop. Damn.
yeah. Eric's on a bunch of new lists.
I need to ping you guys a little bit more on these things before I do them. Well, I still need a January one though. So
go. I want to go back to the story just before, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, May 17th, 2:00 in the Sheraton Grand Room. Jason McCreary doing setting up GitHub actions for your PHP projects. I'm sure he'll touch on building your CSS in a step for you.
Oh, we didn't even talk about next week, John.
Oh,
Oh,
is that the return? The return of SDPHP?
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that because there was an announcement on Laravel News, which I still follow. I'm not sure why. That Dries Vince was releasing Eventy. Did you guys look at the Eventy system at all?
No. I don't know what it is.
It's an event platform that hosts speakers, user groups, and conferences for PHP or for anything where you have speakers, groups, and conferences. Heavily endorsed by Frick Vanderherten and Nuno Maduro, and it looks like something that you guys would be interested in, because are you still using Meetup for SDPHP?
Yes.
I wondered because
Unfortunately.
Eric's muted and doesn't know it.
I'm not giving another fly by night just because we're Laravel. Give us your money. We have the service out service. Is it free?
No.
No.
Well,
Maybe?
$1,000 annually.
that's. I don't see any pricing on here.
I don't see that at all.
What are you looking at? Oh, I'm looking at eventy.co.
This is eventy.io. Duh.
Yeah. I honestly. So this is one of the areas that
Wrong event.
I get a little like irritated with. It's like somebody in the Laravel community recreates something that's already out there, and everybody clambers onto it like this is something new and they've never seen anything like this before. It's like, I'm not jumping over to this just because somebody in the Laravel community created it. If it's good, I'll use it. But I did that for a while back in the day, and I always ended up regretting it. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I just always ended up regretting it and going back. To
User groups are coming soon. They're not there yet.
Yes. But I like what they have about speakers here, which is, as a speaker, you manage your talks and workshops, create your speaker profile, share your slide decks, and more.
Fucking John, do you hear what they're saying? Fucking
Yes.
hell, man.
I do.
I told that was one of my first big projects as Diego Dev. I wanted to replace Meetup.com, but I wanted, and this kind of led. The philosophy behind it is I would have it built before Wave, but it was meant to be this platform where, like you said, speakers manage their talks, what they're willing to talk about, if they're willing to do it virtually, if they're their physical location, and you as a organizer of either a conference or a meetup could do searches of, hey, I'd be interested in any PHP developers in the San Diego area who are willing to do any talk or a talk about this or the talk. I'm a little triggered. I'm a little triggered right now.
if you'd done it in Laravel, you might have gotten some traction out of it. So the backend's important for these kinds
Well,
of.
unfortunately, this is a great freaking idea. It was my idea at one point, and yeah, damn it, I might have to use this now.
I don't see a price. So if you end up on a please give us your credit card page, let me know.
But this all stems back to, yes, San Diego PHP is returning next week, and we are up to 18 people have responded that they will be there.
Excellent.
Oh, nice. That's more than we used to get at our own meetups.
Well,
I
there
know.
would be 50 that said they were attending, but then 5 would show up.
Yeah, you get that 50 to 60% cut.
The problem was the ones that showed up. Not problem. I'm very happy, but they were all Diego Dev employees.
Yeah. Or Fox Pro experts.
But this first one, it's going to be just a kind of meet and greet, just to socialize, just meeting up at Pizza Port, which is a local pizza / brewery place, have some beer and, just kind of hang out and talk and like figure out what people want moving forward out of this group. Because while Eric and I are organizers, we look at it as this is our community. What does everybody want? I think Eric and I sometimes default too much to a diplomatic way. Like, let's put it up for a vote.
Yeah, we put too much. I was thinking about that on the other topic that we were doing. It's like, no, this isn't a voting thing. We're going to make a decision. And then I put it up for a vote.
Yeah, the last vote, we got 2 votes. So I think you need to make that one a little more widespread.
No, that's only being more diplomatic. There's no diplomatic about it.
although it was 2-1 in favor of what I wanted. So
yeah, I think that it ends up being the default because it's like yeah. I think you won that one.
Because it's the 3 of us voting, and I always go with John.
No. Yeah. I think the biggest thing we're going to be looking for at the SD PHP meetup, and as far as what people want, is who wants to run it. That's going to be a big one for me. All right. Yeah. All right. Where are we at on time, man? We're running late. It's our 10:20. Listen, I want to put out a few things because Tom apparently doesn't understand when I put a structure in place and I say, this is how we're doing things and you have visibility to it. And then he still jumps all over the place. So there's a couple things I want to talk about real quick. We talked about Laravel and official Laravel stuff. I don't know if this is an official Laravel thing, but I do know they stole it from us. Laravel is now having a chess tournament on chess.com. And I'm not saying that they saw the PHP Ugly chess tournament and thought, wow, that looks cool. We should do that. But yeah, they have 36 players compared to our 6.
It says join the first Laravel tournament. All are welcome. I hit join. It says this tournament is an invite only tournament.
Really? Where do you see that?
No, I went there. I clicked on join. I don't see it on yours. Maybe you're not logged in right now. I clicked. I can screenshot it. It's like this tournament is an invite only tournament.
No, it's actually not. They just have a filter for PHP Ugly people.
Yeah,
you're on a very short list of PHP Ugly people that they won't allow in. Yeah, I don't even get a button. I don't even like they know me too well. It's like we're not even giving you a button.
What?
It says you're already registered, Eric.
No, that's impossible. Oh, it does say registered.
That's what it says.
That's weird. I'm
going to share it directly in the PHP Ugly Discord because that's how I roll.
That's how you roll. Boom. Not that anybody can see that on the stream, but that's too awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you do.
All are welcome.
Except for you, John. You're not welcome. So wait, I should see me down here somewhere, shouldn't I? That's weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna look for myself.
So John's not welcome. Eric has been shadow banned.
That's it. That's what happened. So the PHP Ugly, I don't know how to get to the PHP Ugly. So we had a tournament.
You're number 36 on that list.
What? How is that possible? 36? I only see 25, John.
You got to hit
Holy
the next
smokes!
page. You're not sharing
I
that
am
screen anymore.
unrated. I'm not. Here, you're right. I must have accidentally clicked something at some point. How do I unregister? Can I do that? Can I just throw my around? So we have the we have the tournament, right? But we also have the PHP Ugly chess group. You can also be a part of. I don't know how to get it.
That's where the tournament is being held currently. It's just a test tournament. We should maybe do an official one at some point.
Yeah, but how do you get to the PHP Ugly group though? It wasn't just the tournament.
Disavow it halfway through.
No, go maybe under the 3 dots. You get the clubs.
The clubs.
DC clubs.
I do not. I'm sure I'm just not seeing it. Anyways, there's a PHP Ugly. There's a PHP Ugly group. So PHP Ugly.
Oh, under social. So under that, the people above the 3 dots, and then clubs.
Oh, above the 3 dots. There you go. Clubs. Here we go. Boom. And PHP Ugly. We have a cool little logo. We have a few people in here. So Mike, who's Razor, I have been playing him in. I reached out to him with like questions, hoping to get some feedback, and he's now ghosted me. He won't respond to me. I'm like, listen, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to do, and I have paralysis now. Like I have chess paralysis. I can't make another move on him because I've got like 3 moves I want to make, and I can't. And I lose all of them. Like every one I do, I lose. So I feel like I just need to resign.
You normally talk about it after the game, not like, hey, which move should I make against you here?
He said I could reach out to him if I had questions, and I have questions. So how do I'm going to show you my game because actually I don't know how to get to my game. I think this is it. This is the game right here. Yeah. So like I wrote the he's responded. Wait, did he respond?
It's a whole lot of response.
Look, yeah, he did respond. He responded.
Okay,
it's a whole lot of response.
Eric, I'm going to need you to check for a carbon monoxide leak in your house. You signed up for a chess tournament and had conversations in chess.com that you don't remember having.
Well, no, he didn't respond right away. It doesn't show you a date stamp of when these chats happened, but I looked for like a week and he didn't respond. And this is my ranting. This is how I think when I'm playing chess. Because like I say, I play through every move I make. And like I keep going back and forth, like, oh, I want to do this, but no. And I keep coming back, like there's one move I keep coming back, which is the queen to h5 is the one I keep coming back to. But I'm like, I run through it in my head. I'm like, no, I lose that too. So I have my little guards here, and I don't want to release them yet. But shit, man, I have paralysis, man. I can't
see. I'm not allowed to help you, but I know what I would probably do here. But
would it not be queen? So read. Oh, you can't read. I was about to say, read what I have 3 or 4 moves here, and I'm just curious if any of them would be the ones that you would do. I still think my queen is the best move, but because the queen, the move with the queen, if they make a mistake, I could capitalize on it. Everything else, they don't even have to make a mistake on, and I feel like I lose.
Right, you can't base off mistakes.
Exactly.
Especially against Razor.
Okay, I need to remember that because that's entirely what I base my play off of.
It's like I totally thought he was gonna be drunk when I was playing him. This is bullshit.
I was. Why wasn't he?
All right, we went way off tangent there.
How do you guys feel about some good old-fashioned doom and gloom to close us out?
Sure.
I'm John.
I was hoping to talk about the Stack Overflow, but yeah, you take control over the show.
Wait, he said close out.
Close
So
us out.
you do your Stack Overflow first.
No, Stack Overflow. We'll save it for next week because that's going to be a long conversation. We're already way over, so let's close. I was kind of pushed to that. Let's close it out.
There was a story making the rounds this week about a man who was arrested based off of facial recognition data. And if you just read the headline, it sounds awful, bad situation. But reading the article, it gets way, way worse. So a police department in New Orleans had video of a crime that had taken place and used facial recognition to match to somebody. They then took the facial recognition match and got an arrest warrant based only off of that issued for this person. Then found out that he lived in Georgia, sent it over to the local police in Georgia, and the local police in Georgia pulled this person over and arrested him. He then spent a week in jail before it was determined that the facial recognition match was bad and this was not the person they were looking for, because the man had never been to Louisiana and had no intention of stealing jewelry from a jewelry store in that state. It's like...
What's your point?
That I was not aware that we could issue warrants based off of facial recognition matches. But that is absolutely what happened. And that we cannot, like with the AI revolution that's going on right now, we cannot let AI be deciding who gets arrested and who doesn't. That's insanity.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a tool. It needs to be a tool we use just like any other tool. I'm fine with it happening, but it needs to be properly vetted by human eyes. I feel like I actually had, not to this extreme, obviously. I actually had something just happen to me this week. I got a what the hell do they call it? A notice of delinquent toll evasion violation. I got this in the mail this week, and I'm like, what happened? What is that? And I go check it out, and it's for a car we had donated to Habitat to Humanity back in June. I guess they sold it, and they whoever they sold it to hasn't changed the plates and did this toll violation. So I submit to them, and I don't know if this is a government agency or if this is private, which is a pet peeve of mine if it's private, if it's not a government agency. But so I submitted I'd gone through their chain of, hey, here's how you dispute this, and you submit the form online. And I'm like, yeah, no, this was donated back in June of 2022, and I attached all the documentation I had from Habitat for Humanity of, hey, thank you for your donation. We've sold it, blah, blah, blah. And within 10 minutes of me submitting my dispute, within 10 minutes, I got a reply email of, yeah, no, we don't accept your dispute. It's like, wait, what? It took me longer to write it out than for you to turn it down. It's like, how's that possible? So I called them today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you didn't submit it right." So I have to resubmit, and I just didn't get time to do it. So I'm hoping for a better outcome. By next week. But yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't facial recognition. Sure, I didn't do prison time, but I'm with him, the man. Fuck the man.
Oh, it's a mess out there. But, if Louisiana wasn't doing poorly enough, a new law now requires that Pornhub get a copy of your driver's license to access Pornhub.
In Louisiana.
In Louisiana.
Specifically Louisiana. Yeah.
What?
So,
Yeah. That's
come on,
real.
What is going on, Louisiana?
You have to get a I can look at porn license now in Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
But how? I'm curious. How is Pornhub supposed to manage that?
Exactly.
You can't do it based off IP address because
That's the thing. The politicians in
VPNs,
Louisiana,
yeah.
they don't care. They're like,
Yeah.
I know. We're just saying that they can't do it.
Porn. Huzzah!
That was like I saw another article where if over a third of the content is pornographic of that like sort of pornographic material, then it's a porn site, and if it's under a third, then it's not a porn site. And so they were like, yeah, Pornhub is going to start just like putting up all this non-porn stuff. So it's less than 30. It's over. Their porn is under 30%. Yeah, it's a bunch of weirdness, man. But you know what's really weird? That I'm still up, and I don't know why I'm still talking to you idiots. It's over. We're done. Episode 317 for 2023. Welcome to 2023. Be good people. Be nice to each other.
Oh, yeah,
be
Happy
pleasant.
New Year.
Be happy. Push yourself. Achieve your goals. Help others achieve their goals. Help uplift others. And just don't be a dick in 2023. And let's see where things, let's see where we're at the end of this year, because it should be interesting. But that's going to be it for episode 317. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly when I hit the button.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how
Tom,
we
are
do.
you legally
Listen,
required to
I'ma
be
drop a freestyle you can
extra
cherish.
from the end of that?
I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the Ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. That's few true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up.
Exterior walls. So I don't even have to worry about that when knocking down stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
What don't you have to worry about? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If you have a basement after a certain year, then none of your interior walls are load bearing. It's all exterior walls.
Oh, interesting. Roger, favorite that was a great question. Favorite Christmas gift, people. Did you get any?
Got it right here.
I got mine right behind me too, actually. What is that?
It is a wood model.
It's a wood model
Of a telescope that I built, or of a monocular scope that I built. I love these little wood model kits.
So this is Beck got me something. My wife, my wonderful wife, and she was so disappointed when it came in, but she had gotten it based on the conversation we had. I told her about this old radio my dad had given me when I was young that had all these different bands on it and stuff, and you could listen to all these things. So she went and found. I forgot. I'm using this camera now. She went and found a version of it. This isn't the exact one I had, but this is pretty damn close to the version of this old radio I used to have, and it meant a lot to me when I opened it up and saw it. It works too. The batteries don't work. I guess you have to plug it in. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, it really meant a lot to me when I opened this up and saw it. I knew exactly what it was. This is really close to the model that I had too. It's not the exact model, but it's pretty close to it. So very happy. What about you, John?
I got puzzle things. My wife knows I'm big into puzzles, and I don't have it in here right now. My kid broke it at one point, and I had to put it back together. But I just like little marble run like puzzle things, and my kids made me a bunch of handmade gifts, which is always fun.
Cheap bastard.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Yeah.
My oldest was like, I put the most presents under the tree. Meanwhile, he's like giving us some of his gems that he then put into paper and then like just taped up to be wrapping.
Great.
But he's like got all these things under there. It was pretty funny.
Well, that's excellent.
So
all right.
Are you making the basement a man cave?
No. So there's room for 3 in the basement. So all the kids are going down there.
I thought kids were out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Do you have to worry about pipes freezing out there?
Yes. Yeah, we got negative 15 a couple weeks ago, so it gets to be a problem. You have to, at night, you have to leave one of your faucets dripping so it doesn't freeze.
So I'm going to warn you. I'm going to warn you right now, Tom. I love you like the brother I killed in those woods when I was younger. Have you ever owned a house?
No.
So the biggest thing for me to get my head around when I owned a house, the first house. Oh, this is only the second house I've ever owned. The other one was in, down in San Diego. But the biggest thing to get my head around is like when shit breaks, like there's no landlord to call to fix it. Like you're on the hook for that shit. And you get so stressed out. Like you hear noises in your house. It's like, oh God, that sounds like $5,000. So just be prepared for that. It is shocking how many things go wrong in a house and you're expected to pay for it.
Yeah. No, I know. My wife's owned a house before. So she's got some experience there. But definitely going to start stocking up on tools and things to fix problems.
Like I said, get tools. What's Roger in Discord? What is Spider Duty? I want to look it up, but I'm afraid. What is Spider Duty? Let's check it out. Roger, I expect you to respond. Hello. I don't know what Spider Duty is.
So
did you guys see the yard?
Buttery, I was just sitting here trying to count. Like, this sounds horrible, but I think this is my 5th or 6th house.
Yeah. John was one of those people. He moved out on the West Coast and he still owned property on the East Coast.
I don't anymore. I don't anymore. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I had to sell my house in Florida finally to make the down payment because it's friggin' expensive out here.
Oh, I have been pushing my wife for years, and I haven't stopped, even though we've moved closer. But here in Southern California, there's a really popular snow resort called Big Bear. Which, I mean, it's literally like from San Diego, it's like a 3-hour drive. I mean, it takes nothing to get there. I had friends that would go there and back in a single day, so it's actually very easy. But I want a cabin up there. Like I want to be able to go up there for like a week or two, or a month in the wintertime, and be able to work and everything, and just be able to enjoy the winter. But I don't want to live in the winter permanently. Like I want to leave it. Like I want to leave it behind when I need to leave it behind. I'm always bugging her for that.
What was that? Tom?
It's the winter here. It's not as bad as I imagined it would be.
-15. Yeah, it's not that bad.
You're just used to it. Your brain's frozen.
How often do you leave the house? Wow, you guys.
If the weather's not.
I thought you were talking to me, Roger. I didn't realize you were talking to Tom at the time. Okay, spider duty. It's their job to kill spiders. Got it. Sorry about that. Sorry about the confusion. I'm an old man. I get confused easily.
Hoping the weather's good enough to leave the house tomorrow. Go get a flight in.
Dude, it's been crazy, right?
I was going to ask you about that.
It hasn't been raining hard. It's just been like this constant drizzle. Like,
yeah,
it's just like this constant drizzle of, a little bit. It's less than rain, but more than a sprinkle. So.
Yep. It's been a couple weeks since I've gone. Hoping to go tomorrow. We'll see.
Speaking of the wife, she's popping into Discord, giving you a hard time, Tom. Saying it's a dry heat like in Arizona. It's a warm cold in Colorado.
Oh God, no! It's a dry cold here. It's so awful. We have to have humidifiers. Your skin just starts cracking. It's so terrible.
Mm-hmm. God, I gotta read what Mike replied.
That was a long response.
I don't really have.
It was a long question because it was like 3 pages.
See, I disagree with him. If had I been him, I would have already blown out my left-hand side. That's weird. I'm curious. I need to talk to him about that.
Well, now share your screen again. We're not recording now. We can just yammer on. I'm sure he's not going to care if I say something.
I mean, if I share my screen, everybody else will see it too.
Do you care? It's up to you.
I guess not. So here's the thing, right? Like, so I'm white, and I was asking him. I'm like, why have you not pushed my left side? Because, like, bring this guy down. If I don't take, you push your queen down, you get this what's the castle? Not bishop.
Rook.
You get the rook to push down. Like I would have already pushed this left-hand side. Like he seems so strong over here. He's talking about, well, I've been attacking his right, which I haven't really. I've more been trying to create a barrier. And that's the thing. The other thing I say is I really want to get this rook in the game, but I can't because he's my I'm waiting for all these guys to drop down, and he's my last line of defense here. So I don't know. He claims that he doesn't really have an attack. Like I haven't pushed my d pawn because you have the pawn. Yeah. You can't play d5. Oh, I can't play d5. Okay. Oh wait,
d5. That was my point. It was right now you're pinned. You can't move your pawn because you're pinned.
Right. Well, and I'm fine with that. Like that's why they're like that. I want to move this. Well, the first thing I was looking at moving was this person and bringing them up to here. So let's clear that. So I was looking to bring this up to here, and then seeing if I can't get some action over here because I'm trying to push these through, but I can't. I don't want to risk losing this rook. So I think I'm stuck with moving the queen over. I think this is really the only move I think I have.
But
and then
what is it? But why? What is that
pushing.
doing? But what is that doing for you?
So depending on what moves he makes, I can push up here, right? Because he's moved that rook, right? So come over here. This pushes up. If he can't move that rook, right? So I either take that. He can move the rook. I either take the rook, or
on his next move, he's either going to move the rook back, or would play h6, which is just pushing where you can't do anything. So it's basically a wasted move. You're not getting anything out of that.
I don't think it's a wasted move. I feel like this is a solid move.
If you do that, he pushes h6. He pushes that.
He can push
and
h6. Then I just move the queen. So that will break these two up at least.
No, that back one.
No, actually, if he pushes h6, which is fine, he can push h6. I still take.
That's G.
Oh, h6.
Yeah,
I gotcha. And then if I take, he takes.
So it's
yeah. See, this is my problem, man. Is I run through so many. Oh, I got a question for you, John or Tom, if either one of you. I see them do it on when I watch the streams. They'll say, okay, I'll move here. If he moves here, I want to move here, and like they preset that move based on what they anticipate the other person's move to be. So if the other person does make that move, the system will automatically make the move for them.
You can't do that in a 5-day game.
Oh,
you can do that in a 10-minute game, like a rapid game.
Gotcha.
I
feel like that would help whoever's playing me, because like I said, I play through scenarios. So like I could easily say, okay, if I move here, if he moves here, then I want to move here, like that sort of thing. I feel like it would be like beneficial to whoever's playing me to kind of move things along quicker. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I have this one lost. Like I don't. There's not a lot of avenues. Like
yeah, they're up a rook and a bishop.
Right.
Granted, you got
well.
More
The
pawns,
bishop doesn't bother me today, right now, because it's a light color bishop, so I'm not overly concerned about the bishop. My king is on dark, my queen is on dark, and all my pawns are on dark. So there's only a couple pieces this bishop can actually get. So the bishop is like I'm only somewhat concerned about it. I have to keep it in mind that it's there. But yeah, the rooks are killing me. Like he's just kept these two rooks in the back, and I just can't do anything.
I mean, that bishop is playing a key role right now, keeping you out.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
What about moving the pawn at d4 up?
You can't. He's pinned.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. I can't move any of these guys, which I'm okay with, because it's again keeping all these guys pinned. So yeah, I don't know. Hold up, I got people.
I'm getting you Wendy's. I don't want it to be cold, so wrap it up with your little friends.
Oh
yeah, Sevi,
gotcha.
I love Gotham chess.
Yeah, Gotham chess. So everybody says, I think you're hustling me because you're making really good moves. All I do is I watch Gotham chess and watch all the openings he goes through. Like he'll cover and detail all these openings. And so like the first 4 or 5 moves, I seem like I really know what I'm doing because I'm like copying one of the openings I learned from Gotham chess. And then after that, I'm kind of fucked. After that, it's just like it's like a game of like there's a chance I'll make a good move, but it's complete luck. Like, yeah, I love Gotham Chess rocks. Yeah, I don't know.
He's just one of the more personable. You get some of those chess YouTubers that are they're just boring.
Yeah,
kind of like this show. I mean, never mind.
I could. Yeah, I can't do that. Can't do that.
Yeah. So that 30 Queens one is in my queue right now. I haven't gotten to it to watch.
30 Queens. Oh, that's the one thing. That's the one rule I did learn last week. You probably know this, John, and you might have even showed it to me. I don't have a good example here, but like, you know, let's say this. Let's say this. Let's say he had a black pawn here, and this this guy wasn't here. If I move up to here, he could actually capture it by moving down in the angle behind it because it's that pawn's first move.
En passant, yep.
En passant. Oh, is that what you said? Yeah. I just
passant.
learned that one. I'm like, holy smokes! Like, I feel like you told me that, but it didn't sink in what that move was.
I was playing against one of our developers just yesterday. I played a move, and he's like, "How did you get 2 queens?"
Yeah. Oh, like, I love that. I love doing like the blitz up the side and trying to get a queen.
Like as soon as you get a pawn to the other side, it can promote to any other piece. Oh, I didn't know that.
So I got a question for you, because recently Magnus promoted to a rook. It's like, why would you never promote to a queen? Like, what would be the use case of not promoting to a queen but promoting to a rook?
Showing off.
That was probably it then.
Because he could. No, there are cases where promoting to a knight is beneficial, but
because of the move you can make.
Right. You could promote and then put him in check or put him in checkmate, but not for a beginner. For a beginner, it's always going to be queen.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that.
There's actually, I think, a setting on chess.com where it always promotes to a queen. Like, it doesn't even give you the option of screwing up and clicking the wrong thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like I've lost this one. I feel like I've lost this one. I could come here and trade queens, maybe. So my problem going this way. My problem going this way is it pins my queen to the side, and I try to avoid that. Like, the queen is in the middle here, and I feel like I have what? I know. I'm going to get off in a second. Relax. Dog's complaining now. Yeah, the queen in the middle. It's like I can go in any angle. Like I cover so much of the board here, you know. So I'm like, I don't know. I could go here and trade queens and see what happens.
You don't want to trade when you're down material. When you're up material, you want to trade. When you're down, you don't. You're listening to Chess Ugly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see any other move, but
get your king out of pin.
There's no good place for me to put him, though. I start pushing these guys up. Ow! Hush! I don't know. I like him down here. He's protected.
Move him to H1. He's still protected.
Well, that doesn't get me anything.
I
guess that makes him do a move.
Well,
yeah, puts him on white too.
But it gets that pawn unpinned.
Gets what pawn unpinned? This one?
Your D4 pawn right now is pinned. You can't do anything with it.
Because it's protecting the king. Yeah. I see. All right. Okay, I need to stop the stream. I got a dog that's trying to get my attention. I don't know if she needs to go potty or what's going on. I do appreciate you taking some time with me on that one, John.
Mhm.
But all right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. As always, been fun. See you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.